Hello YouTube, it's your boy GZTV back with another video, and in this video we are going to be talking about all the new music that dropped. There really isn't a whole lot. I don't think this video is going to be too long, but I kind of have to rush here. I'm going to go to my grandma's and I still have to do homework, eat lunch, watch football, watch the Packers game and stuff, so yeah. Kind of a little bit of a busy day for me. I might try to stream some OG Fortnite tonight. You guys see all weekend I was going crazy with the streams. Really happy about that. But let's get into the new music. I kind of just picked a couple songs from some of these artists' albums. Jeezy dropped a brand new album. And I just listened to I Might Forgive. Actually, a pretty solid song, but I mean, Jeezy hasn't really been that big of an artist for like 10 years. So, I don't really care for it that much. Eminem dropped his expanded edition of MMLP2. I feel like that's kind of the main event of the week for me because it might be signs that he's still thinking of dropping a new album. Usually dropping expanded editions don't really mean much for him if you're like a part of his true fandom, but I don't know, man. Like, he could drop some new music. I'm really wondering where it's at. We've seen teasers. We've seen people like Royce da 5'9" tease it, Paul Rosenberg. People have come out and like kind of hinted at, hey, we might be getting an Eminem album soon. Like, maybe people are thinking an SSLP2 because we already have an MMLP2 as well with this drop, and it only seems right that the SSLP gets its own sequel. Obviously, it's going to be way more censored because of how society works nowadays, and I mean, Eminem doesn't really care what people think, but he definitely wants his music to at least be out there for people to hear. But yeah, Don't Front with Buckshot, pretty nice, just full of Eminem bars. I mean, this was definitely recorded around the time of MMLP2, you can kind of tell that. But yeah, Kevin Abstract dropped a new album, Blanket. There's a decent amount of people, on Twitter and stuff that are pretty excited about this, but I don't know. I've never really been that big of a fan of Kevin Abstract's solo work. I can definitely respect him. He goes in a lot of different artistic directions. Maybe one day I'll listen to this whole album if people start like hyping it up and suggesting it to me, but I don't know. Sorry, that was my alarm to wake up, and I'm already starting my videos. Look at that, that's dedication right there. As we get the new this new T Grizzly album, some pretty solid cuts on here. You get 21 Savage on here, Chris Brown, Machine Gun Kelly, a couple Chris Brown features actually, Corday, City Girls, Skilla Baby, a pretty solid feature list here. I really like the song with Corday. I like that sample that they put in there. Machine Gun Kelly was okay. 21 Savage track was pretty solid. Chris Brown obviously has an amazing voice, and it's cool to see him and T Grizzly work together because T Grizzly actually has a pretty solid voice of his own. So yeah, shout out to T Grizzly for that release. As we get into the Turbo and Gunna track, obviously Turbo has been a big producer for Gunna over the years, so obviously, they had to tag his name on here. Bachelor is like a really big time unreleased Gunna track. Gunna has a crazy unreleased catalog, and this was one of the tracks. It finally got released. Wasn't as hyped as I thought it was gonna be, but it's still a pretty cool track. Gunna's flows are impeccable on here. Obviously, he has some of the best flows in the game, in my honest opinion. He pretty much just came off of dropping probably a top 20 to top 30 hip-hop album of the year, at least. So, yeah, pretty cool stuff there. We get a pretty solid record out of him with that. As we get into Benny the Butcher, who drops a bomb on us, drops a new single with Lil Wayne, Big Dog. This is insane. I haven't really heard a lot of people talk about this. This is pretty big time, honestly, for Benny the Butcher to be working with Lil Wayne. A Griselda member working with Lil Wayne. It's happened before, but man, when it happens, it's a pretty fucking big event. So, yeah. Song is pretty solid. Lil Wayne is always going to have his punchlines on there. This is cool for Lil Wayne because here in like 2 weeks, we're about to be getting an album from him and 2 Chainz, so that's pretty awesome. As we get a new Fetty Wap track with Coi Leray, 1738, the classic. It really brings you back to like 7 years ago. What? Shut the hell up. What? Not really that great of a track for Fetty Wap, but he's actually dropping an album coming up. Not that I really care that much. I listened to a couple of his recent albums, and I thought they were okay. There was a couple tracks I gravitated to. But, yeah, we got that. So, Triplin drops Yeah. Well, he drops a little 2-pack, but I just decided to listen to this. Aim Triplin's cool. I really like the voice effects he does. It's cool. It's fun to listen to. I don't mind it. It's not great, but it's okay. As we get a new Megan Thee Stallion single, Cobra. This is the lead single, I think, for her upcoming album called Cobra. So that's interesting. I don't really care for Megan Thee Stallion that much either, but I guess it's going to be cool to hear some features she has. I don't know. I think it'd be cool to get some like lyrical rappers on her work and see how she stacks up. As we get a new Kid Laroi track, another single for his upcoming album. We have Bleed here. It's cool. He's definitely kind of matured in his sound a little bit. I don't know if this is a sound I necessarily like or anything, but yeah, it is what it is. I know people that like this sound. I respect it. Cochise dropped a new single, Hop in the Whip. Really dope song. I think he previewed it on TikTok a little bit. It's solid. It's catchy. It's fun. That's how a Cochise song should be. I haven't really been bumping him since he dropped Professor, but I don't know. As we get a Sony Digital album with a Juicy J feature, I listened to that. Sony Digital has a really interesting voice. He's been kind of trying to tap into the rap lane a little bit. Cool. I don't have anything to say about it. As we get a new Quadeca little EP thing, and I just decided to listen to Dust Cutter. Quadeca definitely trying to. He's a YouTuber, obviously, but you can't really label him as a YouTube rapper anymore. He's kind of going in a different lane from the other rappers. It's interesting. I don't know if I like the sound necessarily. I like experimental music. You know, Danny Brown, Earl Sweatshirt, JPEG Mafia, guys like that. Death Grips is like. I don't know how I feel about Death Grips, but I don't know. The beat sounds kind of cool on here, but as we get a Dina Ayata new EP, she's been going crazy. She's on tour with the Lil TJ, so shout out to her. She's been making big moves in the music industry. She dropped an EP. I don't know. I feel like her music is definitely going to wear off eventually, but it's cool to see what she's doing right now. That's really all I have to say as we get into a new Ryan Trey album where we get No Cap and Maria the Scientist featured on here. They're cool. I'm not mad at it. You know, Ryan Trey definitely has kind of like a poppy rap lane he's hopping in, so that's all fine and dandy. I don't have much to say about it, though, as we get into the new Alchemist EP, where we have Conway the Machine, Action Bronson, and Currency featured on this thing. You know, the Alchemist can always get a pretty star-studded, underground rap lineup secured for an EP, and that's kind of cool. Cool sampling, cool instrumentals, it's everything you'd expect out of an Alchemist record. I mean, there's nothing really new here. I'm not really going to shit on it or anything, but yeah. Danny Towers drops a track with GT. I don't really know who GT is, but I know who Danny Towers is, and he's been doing pretty solid with his solo career recently, so I decided to listen to this. It's okay. G Perico dropped a track with Steels again. It's okay. And finally, Jack Boy drops a song with Tech. These last three songs are okay. I don't really know. I mean, I've heard of Jack Boy, I've heard of G Perico, I've heard of Danny Towers. So I was like, you know what? Let's just listen to those records just for the fuck of it. I mean, it was only an hour and 18 minutes of new music, which is why this video is so short, and I'm going to be capping it off here. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Hopefully Eminem drops an album soon. That's really something I'm looking forward to. I don't know if anyone else is, because people tend to shit on Eminem all the time on all sorts of, social media platforms. I don't know. I mean, I'm a fan of Eminem. I don't really give a fuck what anyone else thinks. Like, you can say he's a corny white rapper. Who cares? But I got an Ozark video getting ready to get pumped out to you guys next.